everyone, how are you all doing? My name is Ravneet, and today I just want to share a little bit about the deck that I studied. This is not a review, but I think I just want to touch on certain aspects of this deck that I found were very powerful. So the deck I'm talking about today is the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle by Lisa Estabrook. It has 44 cards and a guidebook, which I went into pretty deep. If you look at the markings, yeah, I had a lot of fun going deeper into this particular guidebook. And the artwork is beautiful. I don't have a green thumb, but I still consider myself a lover of plants and nature and trees and all of that. But look at the artwork. It is stunning. Oops, focus. Is it focusing on the shells? Okay, so you see my point. And the bags there are 4 different bags. There is this one, there is the blue turquoisey, there is like green blue, like emerald. I don't know what is this color, but so 1, 2, 3, and one is like yellow, green both. So yeah, it's really beautiful. I use this in spring, but I think you can use it all year round, depending on your mood, right? Also, I want to read from the book a little bit because I think her intention was behind creating this deck has a big role, right? So she says that the one big truth that I most wish to share is that we already have and always have had everything we need to be happy, to be whole. We are not broken, we are simply disconnected from our hearts and the truth of who we are. I love that, right? Because it helps us get back to ourselves so we can do something about it rather than keep looking outside, right? So she says that we have beneath our feet the Garden of Eden, heaven here on earth. We just need to recognize and remember it. My favorite word, remember. Yes. So yeah, I'm just going to read a little bit more because I just don't want it to be another video asking you to buy the deck. Well, from myself. And so another thing that she says is life is a journey that engages the whole of our being, mind, body, and soul in a spiraling process as we grow, hopefully reaching deeper and deeper levels of understanding. It is a spiral, right? Because sometimes we'll feel like, oh, we got done with it, and it will come back again because it's a spiral, and it's like another layer of it will come like an onion, right? And it's always interesting to like go deeper and deeper in the issues that we are going through. Another line that she writes is, I know that the seeds of empowerment only require illumination, love, and the nourishing gift of time to sprout, grow, and blossom. Isn't that beautiful? The seeds of empowerment only require illumination, love, and the nourishing gift of time. Time is important. We need to give ourselves grace and a supportive, loving environment, self-love, and also people around us, right? The environment we create has to be loving for you to grow and blossom. Love that. And then she actually, me not being a gardener really, it was interesting for me to correlate some aspects of gardening with inner work. So she says that where did she say that? It was very interesting how she said it. Yeah, for example, she says that we have a belief that we are somehow separate from the earth we live on. Finding balance, happiness, and healing is not about perfecting being human. It is about integrating all that you are. So she says it as tending the garden of your soul, which is the process of remembering and embodying the truth that you are the earth. Beautiful. You're not separate. You are the sacred gardener in this earth school, learning how to listen to and flow with the natural rhythms and cycles of the planet we live on and the bodies we inhabit. Wow. And then she goes on to the next step, which is starting with the soil. And she also gives a timeline for that. And she says it is any time. The way she described it was so interesting. She says that we are interconnected with and affected by our environments. So it is easy to play victim, assign blame, and resign ourselves to all the drama and suffering that usually ensues. Life is hard and then we die, right? But the responsible gardener knows that we always have a choice. We can leave the soil depleted and unturned, or we can choose to do a little digging and take a deeper look at the truths we will invariably unearth. Isn't it true? Like, not judging a book by its cover, rather taking the time to learn more about the situation, right? Yeah, so next. I think another thing she really said beautifully was that when we are pushing and striving all the time, right, it puts us in this kind of zone where we start doubting ourselves. We start letting the fears control us, which are normal. But then I've seen that in myself when I am pushing all the time, when I'm not being kind to myself, when I'm not creating enough space in my being to let the human aspects of life unravel at their own time. Rather than that, if I keep pushing, which is what we are taught, if you don't work hard, you're not gonna get it, which again, I think everything has a time and a place. If we keep, like, I have made that a habit of pushing and striving, and that's not always effective, right? It can be counter-effective. So absolutely, I feel like we need to also see our BS, right? It's not always the environment, our habits, our ingrained patterns, our habits. We need to always cross-check ourselves also if we are creating these kind of environments for us where they're not helping really, right? So next she says is planting seeds, and she equates it with early spring or new moon. I think this guidebook is so good. The way she says it is that imagination is one of the best tools we have as humans for connecting to our inner wisdom, our intuition, and summoning our outer gardener. Intentions come from a deep knowing within your heart and are released to the universe without the mind interfering and without expectation. It is so important to dream. If we are not hopeful, nothing is going to change, right? And think about the times when you felt like, I need to change something. You don't see the results right away. Unfortunately, that's how the physical world works, right? But then if you give, first it comes in your mind, you start to imagine it, right? And then you take the steps, you form a plan, and you work on it step by step, and finally you see it coming to fruition, right? So I think that imagination is a beautiful gift that we all have, right? So this was interesting. So she was very much focusing on forming goals here, right? Goals which are focused on our freedom, which are focused on our growth. And we decide what those goals are, right? And another thing, like she said, was seeds don't like to be forced or pressured to grow. They like to do it in their own time when they are ready. Just think about it. So potent, right? We need to give ourselves grace, patience. Next, she says is supporting growth, and she says it's the springtime or waxing moon. And here she focuses on the power of our presence. She says ritual is a basic requirement of humanity the world over. Not only does it help us to understand our own lives, our own stories, and our place in the world, but it also helps us to connect with each other and with all life and the earth we share. It is far beyond the observance of specific cultural or religious ceremonies. Its scope reaches much wider. Ritual is any regular practice that brings you into the present moment and helps you find meaning and gratitude for life itself. Isn't that, in other words, habits? Like something we do like regularly, and it can also be forming new habits, right? It's something we do regularly, some practice we do regularly. That's why I don't like to make things special, because again, labels, right? So I think it's about setting a regular practice that can help you come into the flow of the juiciness of life. And I believe personally that again, I think I'm going down the rabbit hole. I just leave it at that, okay? If you get it, you get it. If you don't, it's okay. So yeah, so it's like taking the time to tap into our wisdom, our inner wisdom, right? Okay, so next she says is blooming, which is summer or full moon. And she says that now is the time to revel in the present moment and focus on all you have accomplished and how far you have come. Isn't it important to celebrate how far we have come? I'm guilty of that. I have worked so hard to be where I am, and I don't think I have celebrated that much. Or when I say celebrate, it's not just throwing a party. It's like really feeling that in your being, really seeing your growth, right? Of course, you can still celebrate. I mean, what's the problem with partying, right? But I think like what she's trying to say here is that what we give our attention to gets bigger. Like that's why we say gratitude, right? Because gratitude puts us in this zone where we can see the beauty of all things. We can see the we can see life in its whole cycles, right? Yeah, so what else she said was interesting was let go. Remember this truth. Remembering this truth allows us to let go of our propensity to suffer so that we can instead make room for all the beautiful gifts we are always receiving to flourish and prosper and even have the time to notice. We call it positivity. I think it's important because coming from a difficult past can make you, I have observed, it has made me like, I remember like the darker stuff, like stuff that has really impacted me, but I think I'm learning to be more grateful for what's right in front of me, right? And I think it's a beautiful practice again. Next she says is garden cleanup, autumn or waxing moon. And she relates it to the deeply feminine darkness of introspection, like the mystery and magic of the womb from which life springs is not something to be feared and avoided. It is, as Earth clearly shows us, crucial for balancing and sustaining life. So instead of attempting to push and control our healing and growth, we need to learn to trust the process, consciously surrendering to the mystery and rhythm and flow of our bodies and the world around us, growing, adapting as we change. So not being biased towards one aspect of life, right? Rather seeing the wisdom in rest, not doing anything. You're not a human doing, you're a human being, right? So balancing those aspects of us, right? Feminine, masculine, it's in all of us. So I think that is a beautiful reminder again. Next, she goes into rest and renewal, winter or dark moon. So here she says, we have time to rest before the cycle begins again. This is natural process of growth and transformation, and this is how we learn about ourselves and what makes our hearts sing. We learn by doing, by tending and reflecting, amending and fertilizing. I think this is about sitting back and reflecting, you know. The way she says it is like renewal is the process of surrendering and allowing our lives, our experiences and our stories to be inhabited with compassion and reverence. Renewal is accepting each moment as it is and allowing all of our emotions and all of our feelings to flow, to be felt, to be honored and to be released. I think it's not really, again, it's interesting, right? Because during the whole day, our moods fluctuate so much, right? So in the morning we'll be like, yes, let's go, let's take over the world. But then in the evening we want to recluse and we want to rest. And I think that's what it is, right? Learning to listen to the cycles of the day. Look, like, you know, when there's sunshine, you automatically want to do things, right? And when there's in the dawn, after dawn, like we want to naturally just like go into those liminal spaces, go into those magical subconscious spaces, right? But I think it's very much how I feel it as is that learning to listen, right? Learning to be with your body, because I think this is very much related to our body, right? Again, because this is Plant Spirit Oracle, her angle is very much grounded, which I appreciate because I have stayed so much in the mind. I completely understand why it doesn't work, and why this works. Because we need to work with the pace of our body. Our minds go faster than the speed of light, right? But our bodies don't. So I think it's about learning to really feel into your body and see what it needs in every moment, right? So plant spirits and cultivating a daily practice. She emphasizes on doing the inner work regularly, which is what I'm all about. Another thing she really said was that, which my friend always reminds me, is that we don't shame the flowers for not blooming. Instead, we try to figure out why they're not thriving. So the same should be true for us. Nurturing a daily practice allows you to nurture your relationship with yourself, your true self. The garden and all the flowers are always reminding us that what we give our energy to will certainly flourish. Humans are basically just complicated house plants, aren't we? So yeah, it's this, she writes so beautifully. And yeah, let's see. I've been rambling for 20 minutes now. Okay, yeah. And then I think another thing that I really have been looking into is that all of these are part of us. It's in our DNA. So we don't have to go and learn this. We just need to create space for it to come to see it in us, right? And of course we need regular inner work, reflection, that kind of stuff, and it can be in different ways, right? But what she says here is that the wisdom is there in our DNA, just like a seed dormant from neglect. Once seed, right? I completely agree. It's like a seed. We all have potential. Once we start tending it, once we start mothering ourselves, we will remember. Mothering. It is mothering. I absolutely agree. That's why I got drawn to cards, because I felt like this was such a beautiful way to mother myself. That's what I've been doing. I love the words she uses. It's just an amazing guidebook. Yeah, and then there are affirmations at the end of every card. And also, like, I think I might have mentioned it, but like every card has focusing on the damn seashells. Yeah, so every card has a short description, so you can read the cards without the guidebook, but the guidebook is really good for like self-reflection work. So yeah, that's about 23 minutes. Okay, yeah, let me know if you like these kind of videos, because I just love to sit and like talk about these beautiful work of art, right, by these people, by these beautiful authors. And yeah, absolutely loved to get to know this deck. And I think the next deck that I'm starting is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. Don't ask me why, it was my intuition, so I don't know. Okay, but also I see a lot of animals generally in my dreams and in my life, so it makes sense, I guess. So yeah, I'll see you guys again. I love you all so much, and goodbye.